Wars Southeast Asia's Grand Finals, proudly hosted by TNB ARA. Please proceed with your registration and take your seats. We'll be beginning shortly. Once again, let me introduce myself. My name is Nadine. I'm a marketing communication student from BINUS University, and I'll be your host for today's event. Now, distinguished guests, judges, and participants, we're about to begin our program. Kindly rise from your seats for the playing of the Indonesia's national anthem. Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, once again, welcome to Startup Wars 2025 Southeast Asia's Grand Finals. This event is proudly brought to you by TNB ARA in partnership with BINUS University and the Singapore Venture and Capital Association. To officially open today's Grand Finals, we are honored to invite Mr. Vignesh Pillai, co-founder and managing partner of TNB ARA, to deliver the welcome address. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Vignesh to the stage with a big round of applause.
Hello. Hello. Hi, everyone. Firstly, I'm Vignesh, co-founder of TNB ARA. Thank you so much for coming over here. Good morning, and it's great to see everyone gathered here today. Our judges, partners, students, friends across the region, welcome to the Startup Wars 2025 Southeast Asia Grand Finals. So thank you so much for being here. So just some background, when we kicked this off in 2023, we started off as a small pilot in Singapore, an idea to help students experience what it's like to think and act like a VC. In 2024, we expanded to Indonesia and Philippines, and many of our friends and judges here, thank you so much for even helping us last year, and continuing to help us this year. And just to kind of continue on the expansion journey, this year, we have gone regional, bringing in Vietnam and Malaysia as well. Seeing that growth from 1 country to 5 countries has been really meaningful for all of us at TNB ARA, so thank you so much. This year's competition challenged students who are here to dive into real-world case studies across asset management, beauty, and cybersecurity. 3 very different but fast-evolving sectors in Southeast Asia. And through the process, you have gone through mentoring sessions, Ask Me Anything sessions with the various VCs, as well as plenty of late nights to put this together. It's been amazing to see students from BINUS University, Ateneo, NUS, SMU, Foreign Trade University, and Sunway University come together for this journey and be here today with us. And a huge thank you also goes to many of the VC partners who supported us across the region this year, mentoring all the students and the companies. VCs such as Plug and Play out of Singapore, Aries Management, Doe Ventures, Foxmont Capital Partners in Philippines, and Gobi Ventures in Malaysia. You have helped us shape what this program currently is today. A big thank you as well to the founders of our portfolio companies, PAX, Iratani, TechCorp, Nybertex, and Horizon, who took your time to mentor and connect with our finalists earlier this competition. Your insights and generosity has made a real difference in shaping the next generation of venture builders. Startup Wars is ultimately about learning how conviction is built through research, discussion, and perspective. Whether you win today or not, I hope this experience gives you a glimpse into how venture capitalists are thinking and what it means to bring bold ideas to back. Thank you once again to our judges, our university partners, and everyone joining us today in Jakarta and online. We're excited for what's ahead, and I can't wait to see the energy and the ideas you bring to the stage today. Thank you once again, and all the best for the day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vignesh, for the inspiring words. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we'll now begin our panel session, featuring our distinguished judges for today, leaders who have shaped the venture capital and startup ecosystem across Southeast Asia. This discussion will explore the perspective on innovation, venture growth, and the evolving opportunities across the region. Please join me in welcoming our panelists and moderator one by one. First of all, Mr. Richard Budi Tresno, Vice President of Investment at BIG Ventures, the venture arm of BINUS Group. Mr. Richard leads deal sourcing and portfolio strategy, supporting Indonesia's next generation of entrepreneurs through education-linked innovation. Let's give Mr. Richard a big warm round of applause. Next, Mr. Carson Law, Managing Director of Ares Management, where he focuses on venture capital investment in Southeast Asia. He brings extensive experience from leading North Stars Ventures and co-founding CoHive, one of Indonesia's largest co-working operators, alongside prior roles at Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley. Please give Mr. Carson a big round of applause. Next, Mr. Fandi Chandrajaya, founding partner at Capital Ventures, an early-stage venture capital firm investing in category-defining startups across Southeast Asia. Mr. Fandi has backed companies such as Say Indonesia, Recosystem, Durian Pay, and Beauty Hall, and is passionate about supporting visionary founders tackling hard problems. Please give Mr. Andy a warm round of applause. And finally, Ms. Sharon Lim, Chief Executive Officer of the Singapore Venture and Private Capital Association, who will be moderating today's discussion. Ms. Sharon champions collaboration across private capital stakeholders to strengthen Southeast Asia's innovation landscape. Please give our finalists and moderator a warm round of applause as they take the stage. But ladies and gentlemen, before we begin the team presentation, let's ladies and gentlemen, please wait a minute for the operator. Thank you.
So before I take my moderator seat, I wanted your attention. Thank you so much, everyone, for showing up this morning for our Startup Wars. I wanted, before we start our panel discussion, to take a sense or take a poll as to how many of you here today hopes to be a VC. Show me a show of hands. How many of you here hopes to be a VC? Or nobody? Okay. Not very many. Very small number. Are these all the contestants? Okay. And how many of you here hopes to be an entrepreneur, be a founder, a startup founder? How many? Again, all this group. So what do the rest of you want to be? How many of you want to be an investment banker? Okay, again there. So what do the rest of you want to be? Shout, just shout out what your ambitions are. What do you want to be? Or do you just want to land a job? Anybody? Engineer. What else? Sorry? What else? No response? Who wants to do sales? Any salespeople? Ah, there. Okay, we can find our salespeople. And who wants to be in marketing? The same people who want to do sales want to be in marketing. Who wants to save the world? Who doesn't care? Just wants to make money. Okay, I got your attention. Now with that, let's start. I think there's a big misconception, and I'm going to correct that today, representing a VC PE association from Singapore. We serve quite a large region. We don't just serve Singapore or Southeast Asia. A lot of our members are investing globally. And it is a very difficult time for VCs, and I think my panelists would tell you that. But does everybody here know what a VC does? Yes or no? Everyone who doesn't know what a VC does, put up your hand. Okay, now let's clarify what a VC is for you. We are very privileged to line up 3 very important people who are in the Indonesia VC ecosystem and who invest into various different stages of a startup or a business. So when you have an idea, you need to prove that the idea is investable. And for that, you need to meet minimum viable, you need to reach a minimum viable product stage. And what does that mean? To answer that, Richard, can you please enlighten us as to what does big ventures do and what is pre-seed?
Sure. Hi. Hi, everyone. I'm Richard. Nice to meet everyone here. So, brief introduction. BIG Ventures, we're actually the venture arm of BINUS. We operate as a regular venture capital, but we only have one LP, which is basically an investor, which is BINUS. What we do is we invest from pre-seed, which is typically very early stage, could be an idea still, pre-revenue normally, could have early revenue, all the way up to about Series A. So Series A is typically larger, they're more established, they already have revenue flows. That's what we do. Our investments, we have about 7 so far. 50% are in education, 50% are everywhere else, agnostic. Yeah, so a minimum viable product. I think the definition kind of varies depending on the investor itself. Typically, you would already have a product. It could be already running. Ideally, it would be already running, already has early revenues. You've tested it out, your features to a certain number of customers, see if they would like to buy it. You've experimented with your pricing, and you're kind of ready to kind of go forth and sell it. I think that's how I would describe it, yeah.
And then we have also Fandi. Fandi also does pre-seed. Can you tell us how you approach, your investment strategy differently?
Yeah. So hi everyone. Thanks for hosting and thanks for having me. So I'm from Kopital Ventures. Kopital Ventures is a pre-seed, seed stage investment firm. We are mostly investing in Indonesia. For us, actually, for pre-seed, usually our investments is, we invest when there is basically nothing in the company. We hope to be day one investors of, well, day zero investors of founders. We try to ideate together with founders. We try to come up with go-to-market strategies. Because in VC, I think for a pre-seed fund like us, we're looking for asymmetric bets. We're looking for big outcomes. So we hope to grow from 0 to 100 with these guys.
Then let's not forget our biggest investor on the panel, Carlson, has been around in Indonesia for quite some time. And he doesn't do pre-seed, do you?
Maybe just to introduce kind of like Aries management. So our predecessor fund is North Star. North Star fund that has been around since 2003. Yeah? And in the early 2010s, we decided to do some investments in the tech space. So now, as part of Aries, we look at seed, Series A, and Series B investments. Seed meaning like, I say unlike like Richard or Fendi, we typically want some form of running product.
How much is a seed round? How much do you put into an investment?
So I think one of the misnomers is that in this part of the world, sometimes seed, Series A and Series B is the sequence of investment rather than the stage of maturity of a company. So if a company is in a very early stage in terms of maturity, in terms of business model, organizations, typically we go anywhere from $500,000 all the way up to like $3 million at seed stage. But the reason why I brought up the sequence is because there are sometimes when we did a first check, for example, in the company, it was like $5 million, right? And because the company is really mature in terms of the organization and the business model. So I think for us, we typically evaluate how the company runs and how the company essentially executes, right, on their plan. And then that we size the investment amount.
So why should a founder come to the three of you instead of, say, a bank or a different, you know, or the parents or their friends? Maybe let's start with Richard.
Sure. I think this goes back to what a venture capital does. I think I'll go into that a little bit more. So what we do is we actually invest in companies, typically startups, where the first check that they get to enjoy. What we get in return is typically some equity from that company, typically about 10 to 20% on a per round basis. And we become shareholders, as well as we give them advice, we help them manage the companies as well. So that's what we do. Why would you go for us versus, let's say, a bank loan or from your parents? I think bank loan typically in the stage that a startup would be, it would be quite tough because you don't really have assets, you're very early, your revenues aren't really there yet. So banks will say no to you. Your parents will probably be the very first ones before you guys come to us. They may support your business, but once you start deciding that you want to scale, I need capital to grow rapidly because my product is good, typically you would go to us and we get equity in exchange. Yeah.
Fendi, maybe you can tell us, you know, a startup that you've backed and walk us through as to from day one, how much you put in and where it is and what was the founder like that made you decide to choose the startup?
I see. Yeah, thanks for the question. So I think during my introduction, I think one of the companies that was brought up was Say Indonesia. So we invested a few $100K in Say Indonesia last year. At the time, obviously, they were not zero. They are an F&B company. They have started. But why we decided to back them is simply because obviously the traction is there. But most importantly, I think the founders are very ambitious. And the founders were very driven. They were all in the business. And today, well, this is I think keep this off the records, guys. But well, they have just got an offer, I think, to be a $100 million company. When we invested, it was a $6 million company just 10 months ago. So yeah, I think that's a bit. And in terms of how we have helped the company, to be honest, the way we have helped the company from day zero, well, not day zero, day one till today, it's more of a, as Richard mentioned, advising from a fundraising perspective. But outside of that, I think the founders know their operations better. And that's why we invested in them, right? Not only because they're ambitious, but because they know how to operate the company better than us. And because if we know how to operate the company better than the founders do, then I think there's no point in us investing, right?
Councillor, maybe you can talk to us about the most recognizable brand that North Star had invested into, and what the market was like then, and what is it like now, and what is it that North Star did to help the business?
I think the most famous example is Gojek, right? Which the founder of North Star, Patrick, invested in. This was like early 2010s, huh? And I think back then it was like single-digit, right, valuation kind of like company. We were first checks in, and I think if some of you might know, actually Gojek started as a call center, right, for Ojo. So it's actually a very simple business model, right? Like, is there a way to make it more efficient to actually hail, right, Ojo driver? Huh? And I think like fast forward today is in multiple other verticals, right? It has like food delivery, it has like finance, it has all other sorts of product lines. Huh? But when it first started, it was quite humble in beginnings. And I think the funny thing is, in our investment memo, what it said was that the company should be profitable in 6 months after our investment. So the point is, as VCs, typically between the point of investing to the outcome that we have, sometimes it's very hard to predict the pathways, right? And very hard to predict kind of like the outcomes. I think one of the good things we did was we really supported the founding team in terms of what they wanted to build out. Whether it's in terms of like the talent hiring, I think one of the first things that the company did post-investments was actually to buy a few of these like development centers, right? Both in Indonesia as well as in India. And that really accelerated, right, the app development process. And then the second thing is actually to formalize, right, a proper human development system within the company itself. Because like typically when it comes to a bit later stage, it's all about the organization, right? How is the organization going to carry out the vision of the founders? So I think these are the key things, right, that really push forward the business. And of course, it ran through a lot of ups and downs, the company. But I think today is in a much stronger position.
Richard, maybe you can tell us how BINUS started to form a venture arm or BIG, and whether BIG has invested in any students so far.
Ooh, okay. Yeah, so first question, how it started. I think BIG Ventures was running briefly for about a year or so before I joined. Formalized the process, created the proper name, the logo, all that. I think from the founding members of BINUS, what they wanted to do was really to tap into the startup ecosystem, which at the time was booming, very, very booming. So they wanted to get a foot in there, as well as to kind of help, ideally, the students as well to grow. Now, out of our portfolio, have we invested in any BINUS students? No, sadly, no, I don't think so. But we have explored a bunch of the student programs that we have. We have an incubator here as well. We have had pitch competitions. It's just none of them are, of the caliber for us to be able to invest in yet. Not yet. Yeah. Hopefully soon.
So it's not easy to be a founder. We discussed last night whether we should, we should kill your dreams. But I wanted to state for the record that you must be crazy to be an entrepreneur. and I wanted to see how many of you think you will do better as an entrepreneur than to be working for someone. Hands up. Okay? Not many. You see? There are not many crazy people in this world. And, oh, look, there's one. Vic is crazy too. So, Fendi, tell us, what does it take for you to give a founder money? What does it take for you to be, confident that this is a founder that will make this startup grow up to be a success?
I think because we invest so early on, as mentioned, not much traction typically. Back to say Indonesia, actually we have known the founder since he was a fresh grad. So a bit of a background in Kopital Ventures as well. My co-founder is actually the founder of Kopi Kenangan. And actually the founder of Say Indonesia was one of the first 10 hires in Kopi Kenangan. He was there for 2-3 years. And then after that, he went off to start his own company. And then throughout the years, we have kept in touch, and we have kept in touch with him, with his sisters who happen to be in Kopi Kenangan also, till today. So I think the first thing that gives us comfort as to why we invest in, say, Indonesia, for example, would be the trust, right? Even though we have not managed to successfully build a business prior to, say, Indonesia, build a business to scale at least, or have a sterling track record in terms of career. His work experience was purely Kopi Kenangan back then. We decided to back him because we know him, we trust him, he's ambitious, he's not afraid to fail and then come back up again. And obviously, so far it has paid off in, say, Indonesia, be it in terms of our investment, in terms of the company's growth. So yeah, definitely the comfort in knowing someone, the ambition, and not being afraid to fail. So these are all very subjective things. Obviously having traction is better, but yeah, the people definitely, their vision and their work ethic and their courage.
And Carlson, you've seen quite a number of deals over the years. What do you think are some of the traits in a founder that are overrated? And what did you learn investing in startups that did not turn out the way you hoped they would? And what are some of the lessons learned that you want to remind the students here, whether you're a VC or a founder, what should you not assume?
Maybe before I answer that question, because I realized that here, kind of like a couple of you guys are still maybe a bit worried about being an entrepreneur, right? Maybe if I could add one thing first, like so before joining Nostar, I actually started a few companies, and I had one company that's like venture backed, right? And I'll say that the learning experience that you have actually starting a business, whether it's venture backed or not venture backed, right? I'll say exceeds a lot of things that you can learn, right? From just a textbook. Like for me, for example, I never knew marketing was important, right? I was a finance major, an electrical engineering major, so I'm a very numerical person. So like I thought like marketing, why would marketing be important, right? But actually marketing do work. Whether you're in a B2C or C2C or B2B business, it's important to know marketing. And then the second thing I learned was like human development and organization management is super important. Like because as your business scale, you need to manage teams of people. So how you create incentives, how you create organizational structure is important. And things like this, you can read about it, but it's like not experiencing it, right? It's just drawing a painting of an apple without tasting the apple itself. So I think it's important, like if you really want to consolidate what you have learned, right? And to actually put it in practice, nothing actually beats starting a business. And whether you go out and decide to raise money from people like us, or you decide to raise it from your parents or from the banks, I think it's important for you to start. And it's important for you to start early. Yeah. So I think with that in mind, maybe let me share a little bit about kind of like the markers, right, that we look out for. And this, I borrow a page or two, right, from Warren Buffett himself. He said there are 3 things that he look out for in any person that he invests in or back, right? he makes sure that he's hardworking, smart, and honest. But actually, the third is the most important. Because if someone is dishonest, you rather him be lazy and stupid, right? Rather than smart and dishonest. So I think actually, like in this current climate, actually one of the things that we look out for a lot is integrity, right? Being honest with the founder's like admission of his own failure, being honest about maybe some of the experiments he did that did not work out, right? And sometimes even being honest about the performance of the business. I think that's one thing that we look out for, and as investors, one of the ways we do it is to do a lot of reference checks. So reputation is very important. Like we will go out, we'll check with your friends, we'll check with like the circle of people that knows the founders, and that's like highly critical for us, right? And if I were to look back at the investments we did like maybe over 100 investments, right, in the early stage space. I think some of the ones that did really well are where the founders came to us very early on and say, I'm sorry, maybe the business is not working out well. Maybe let me return you the money and let me try again, right? With a new business before I come back to you to raise money from you again. And the ones that did not do well, right, were where the performance were maybe starting to trend downwards and kind of like the founders started to think, oh, maybe I should manipulate a bit, right, the books, and maybe to present it in a way that seems a bit nicer than it actually is. So I think to be a good entrepreneur, right, I think the first thing you have to do is to be honest with yourself, and be honest with the people who support you. And I think that's I guess like the main takeaway, right, that I have looking at all the investments we made.
Richard, have you come across a dishonest founder? And, you know, how do you know if someone is honest or not?
That's a difficult question. I would say how to know whether someone is being honest, whether you're not. Over the course of my career, yes, I have met a few dishonest founders. There have been cases where a founder took the money, then disappeared off the face of the earth, right? They just took your money and left. There are founders who I'm sure you guys have seen in the news as well. A lot of them have taken money away from investors as well. I think the ability to kind of meet someone, judge them, see how they react to your questions, see their body language, read their face, how they react to you. I think that's a skill that we as investors have to build in order to at least have a gut feeling whether this person will be honest or not. Yeah.
So a lot of us are now going to be, affected by AI. Some in a good way, some maybe not so good way. What do you think, Fandy? How important is AI in the way you hire someone on your team? Are you still hiring analysts, associates at the entry level?
Yeah, I mean, for us actually, of course, AI actually disrupts and changes the way we work on a day-to-day basis. But because we invest so early on, as you mentioned just now, the question to Richard, I think the importance is not the investment analysis. Well, it's important, but I think the most important thing is to be able to find the right kind of people, and then after make a right judgment on their character, on their ambition, on their work ethic. I think those things are very human, and I think those things are irreplaceable by artificial intelligence. That's why I think we will still continue to look for people to hire, people who are also ambitious, people who look for the same kind of people that they want to invest in. And also just now, for example, when I think the question you asked, Richard, was a very tough one. But I mean, I want to share an example. So we invested in a foreign founder last year, and his business did not work out well. And typically in our investment mandate, we do not actually top up our investment. We're a first check only, one check, no pro rata, just because we want to keep it fair across the board. We don't want to give any bad signaling. But this is one of the few, or actually the only one thus far, that we have topped up in terms of our investments when he was pivoting to a new business. Just because I know that he's also one of the most transparent guy, one of the most high integrity guy I've met the past few years, at least as an investor. So how I found out he was honest was, I think this is a bit extreme, but he actually showed me his all his bank accounts. And then after that, he showed me his monthly expenses, and he said his personal runway is 1 year. In 1 year, he has to either make it or he basically will get sort of deported out of the country. So we thought there was a good enough incentive that, okay, I think this guy will be transparent, and I think this is a guy that's worth backing. And today, actually, outside of Stay Indonesia, he's one of the companies that are doing very well.
You know, I am curious, Kasa, as to what does Indonesia look like in the context of the other markets in Southeast Asia? Does Indonesia suffer from, more, headlines around frauds than other markets, and why is that?
I think maybe I'll start with the kind of like recent developments and news, right? I think part of the reason why there's a lot of, say like accounting irregularities, right, is that Indonesia did attract a lot of capital. A lot of it was because of the size of the economy. It's like half of ASEAN's economy, like the population is like, so Southeast Asia is like 680 million people, like Indonesia is like 280 million of it, right? So it's again like an outsized proportion of Southeast Asia. And so because expectations were elevated and too much capital went in, and unfortunately there were a few founders that took shortcuts, right? And then decided to get rich, but not in a proper way. And so that's why Indonesia made a lot of headlines. But the truth is, the fundamentals remain the same, right? It's still the most important economy in Southeast Asia. The country continues to grow, and it's blessed, right, with a lot of natural resources. So the tailwinds are there. I think the key is now for the entrepreneurs, right, to really prove themselves again, right, in this part of the world, and to really go out there and build good businesses, right? Whether you're venture-backed or not venture-backed does not matter, right? Just go out and build a good business and really prove, right, that this economy, right, can shine again. So I would say relative to other economies, there's still a lot of tailwinds for this country. We invest across multiple other countries like Vietnam, Philippines, Singapore. We're looking at deal in Malaysia and Thailand. And always the question is TAM, right? Is the total addressable market big enough, right, compared to Indonesia? So that's an advantage that all of you sitting here have, right? And that you should really look into it, no? Because you are sitting in the most important economy in Southeast Asia today.
Actually, if I were a student now, I'll be a bit worried about getting a job. So for everyone who showed up today, what would you say, for each of you, are the most exciting sectors and industries and jobs to be, chasing upon graduation? Starting with Richard.
Okay. I think I'll start with sectors first. So for us, maybe 5-10 years in the future, it goes down to, in Indonesia, what are the core problems that are arising, right? What we see now, and I'm sure as most of you guys know, the first one that we're interested in is actually healthcare. So as we all know, Indonesia's healthcare system is not doing so good as compared to other countries. There's a lot of room for it to be improved. And I think a big part of this is because they have effectively segregated themselves from outside international influence. So there's a lot of opportunity that can be made here. The problem is clear. You can see so many Indonesians going overseas to get their health checkups, to get their health procedures done. So there's a problem there. Second one is actually in education. So same style as the first one. Indonesia's education system is lagging quite farly behind compared to other nations in Southeast Asia. A lot of opportunity and very impactful opportunities to be had there as well. I think in terms of jobs for you guys, I mean, you could do in Indonesia, there's still a lot of opportunities for you guys to do here as compared to, let's say, the United States. US, I would recommend you to do something related to AI, maybe AI architecture. But in Indonesia, there's still a lot of spaces for you guys to be had. And I would actually recommend for you guys to start your own business. I think Carlson mentioned this before, because the benefit of you being here in Indonesia is you can actually look at the US, look at China, we're maybe 5 to 10 years behind them. Just see what they're doing, the startups that are there, think about how that can be localized here in Indonesia, and then do it well for your own people. And that's something that you can do and easily attract funding. You can easily probably do well as well if you can do that successfully.
Yeah. Maybe just to share, I think it's important to not think of a job as so much as a career, right? So to think a bit longer term, because you have like, what, 40, 50 years, right? Like in terms of active working life. And I think it's, although and I agree with Richard's kind of like sectors, we are looking at like healthcare sector, we are looking at education sector and professional services sector, right? But at the end of the day, ultimately, you have to be in something that you feel passionate about, that you don't mind doing for the next 5 to 10 years. And that way, it has a lot of benefits, right? I think the first thing is you spend a lot of time thinking about it, right? Whether you're during the day or you're like in your spare time, you're thinking about the work, right? And I think the second thing, though, is that in life, you always have up and downs. There are some industries like where it goes through cycles and suddenly it's out of favor, right? And if you're really still passionate about it, you're still going to be on it, no? So I think the more important thing here is that you pick a particular industry or sector or subsector, right, that you feel really, really passionate about, no? And maybe one of the ways that you can kind of like get a sense of it is like during your spare time, right? If like you're waiting for a bus, for example, you go on Instagram, what do you actually naturally scroll, right? And what do you actually look at, right? That's something that you feel like it's kind of like your hobby that you really want to pursue. Huh? So I think that's the way you kind of like pick your career path. Huh? And that's always the option of joining big ventures or Capital Ventures, right? Which are great career options for you. Huh? So it's just something that you can consider.
Andy?
Very difficult question. Well, I don't think we are sector agnostic in nature, but I think based on our past investment sectors that have been interesting to us is consumer brands basically, because we have had a lot of success. We have a lot of luck investing in those. Just now, say Indonesia, Something, and of course my partner Kopi Kenangan. But then in general, I think I agree with Carlson and Richard. I think you guys should find something you're passionate in. Start the business in that particular sector. Don't look at what VCs are interested in. Don't look at the hottest trends. Look at what you will do for the next 5 to 10 years or even 20 years. Because with or without the existence of funding, do you still want to carry on doing it? Do you still want to carry on solving that problem? I think that's the most important thing. Because your business should outlast our fun lives. Except Richard, who has no fun life. So yeah, I think that is my take on it.
Being the oldest auntie on this panel, I will share that it is very important to be true to yourself. There are a lot of jobs that feel like they're more glamorous and they make more money, but sometimes after a few years in it, it could kill your spirit. And I think it's very important to constantly, go after what you love and become really good at it. And I think that will give you a lot of satisfaction and fulfillment, never mind which sector. And I hope with that, I give you something to think about. And thank you very much, fellow panelists, for sharing so much about what you do with the students today. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Sharon, for leading the discussion, and also thank you to all our panelists. Let's give them a big round of applause once again. Okay. Personally, I learned so much from today's session. I learned how the critical role of venture capitalists in funding innovations, how they see their investment from based on recognizability, good reputation, and most of all, based on trust. And I think I completely agree with Ms. Sharon that ultimately, whether we be entrepreneurs or venture capitalists, we have to be true to ourselves. Now, ladies and gentlemen, before we begin the team presentation, let's take a moment to appreciate the incredible journey that has led us here all today. Over the past few months, Startup Wars 2025 brought together students from 31 universities across 5 Southeast Asia countries, starting from Vietnam, Singapore, the Philippines, Malaysia, and lastly, Indonesia. From over 1,299 initial submission, only the top 6 finalists per country advanced to round 1, where they tackled real-world business challenges. The top 6 teams from each country then went on to participate in an Ask Me Anything and mentoring session with the leading venture capital professionals, getting first-hand insights into the world of venture investing and entrepreneurship. And today, after months of hard work and preparation, they'll be presenting their round 2 case studies, tackling complex go-to-market and scaling business strategies, inspired by Southeast Asia's vibrant startup ecosystem. To capture this journey, let's watch a quick video that highlights the energy, creativity, and determination that brought these finalists to the grand final stage today. Okay, that was such a good video for seeing their journey. And ladies and gentlemen, to begin our grand finals presentation, please join me in welcoming our first finalist team, Team CAPM, representing Vietnam. Each team will have approximately 12 minutes for presentation, followed by a 5-minute Q&A with our judges. A single bell will be sound at 3-minute mark, and a double bell will signal the 1 minute remaining of your presentation time. Judges and audience, let's give Team CAPM another big round of applause.
Hello, can everyone hear me? Selamat pagi, good morning, judges, and all audience online and offline. We are Team CAPM from Vietnam, and today we are very honored to be the first one to present. So let's get started, shall we? And so we choose market, and and he also his company he present a clear way for significant return. So let's get started. To the research mandate here, we previously proved that pharmaceutics is the one fit for Vietnamese market, and now we will further understand the company. So first we have to take a look at the overview of Nutraceutics. So Nutraceutics is a science-backed Vietnamese dermocosmetic brand that founded in the year 2021. So we could take a look at the business model. So it is a capital efficient and B2C engine with the multi-channel strategies of e-commerce platform and social media. And also, Nutraceutics create revenue using the direct sales of product portfolio, and they use like formulating the actives such as the niacinamide, B5, and BHA. So one unbeatable advantage of Nutraceutics is on the founder market fit. So I will introduce you the founder of this company. His name is Phạm Minh Hữu Tiến. So he also called Pharmacy Tiến. So he's not just the entrepreneur, he's the pharmacist. He's the valedictorian from a very famous university in Vietnam related to the pharmacy and medicine. He also the director of the Center of Research regarding to the beauty industry. And all these factors have created a high level of scientific and pharmaceutical knowledge to prove that Nutraceutics is the company, the greatest company that no competitor can compete in terms of the instant credibility. And also, Pharmacy Tiến is a person who has the dual presence. He not only the pharmacist, but he also the entertainer. This advantage creates the conditions to communicate the brand message into the target audience. So the vision of this brand is scientific efficacy, affordability, and also the Vietnamese focus. So this brand vision, next slide. So this brand visions can effectively created by the great market opportunity. So we have to take a look at the forecast of our target customer. So the target customer here, we identify is those who is digitally native, who is the urban and semi-urban Vietnamese people within the age of 80 to 35. So they are those who can spend money to buy the quality products. They are also influenced by the social media, and they seek the products that have great reviews from the reviewers that have expert in the beauty industry. Okay, so we also have to take a look at the number here. So based on the time model, the time value here is the total value of Vietnamese beauty industry is about $1.5 billion. And the sum here is the value of the high growth dermocosmetic segment is about $62 million. And finally, based on the bottom-up approach, we calculate the sum value of about $30.5 million. So coming up next, we will dive deeper into the product market fit.
So on to the product market fit. After the influence of the science beauty trend in 2020, Vietnamese consumers are now seeking to find a trusted and effective product but they also concerned about the scientific washing marketing. They also find the premium product to be unaffordable on top of the fact that 63% of consumers reject the idea of the pricier, the better that the luxury brand trying to sell. Crucially, the foreign player in Vietnam often fail to tackle the Vietnamese skin concern being hyperpigmentation and acne. But Dr. Sutik offer a direct solution to this pain point. They built on a foundation of scientific rigor due to their founder being a pharmacist. And also they segment themselves into the mass pricing to be more accessible to the broader market. And the most importantly is that their product is formulated to address the specific concerns, understanding the matters of climate matching in skincare segment. So this idea maze of product development process can ensure us to they only committed to products that are backed by science, backed by data, and address these validated markets. This results in the impressive early traction that you can see here, and this also reaffirms that the product can solve real-life problems, leading to our focus on a portfolio of high-efficacy solutions. You can see here that I have graphed a number of players in Vietnamese skincare product, and we can sum up the dynamic being dominated by three major clusters. The first one is Western dermocosmetic, the second is Korean and Japanese beauty, and the last one is emerging Vietnamese brand. So Dr. Sutik positioned itself up right here, perfectly aligned with our successful case study model in round 1, CeraVe. Furthermore, Dr. Sutik have their differentiated asset that can protect them from being replaced or being overshadowed by other players, being their hero SKU. So their SKU revolve around these three products, B3, B5, and BHA. Not something fancy, but they are always prioritized in tackling skin concerns like barrier repairment, acne, and excessive oil producing. They also focus on continuously R&D. As you can see here, each line have different products specifically to each type of skin. This leads to our economic mode, a robust one that being built with a combination of extensive intangible assets, reinforced by a significant cost advantage, and reinforced with our expanding and dynamic network effect. So on the switching cost is actually created through a personalized product matching and aftercare program that illustrates a risk to customer that tries and find a product effective. So next, on to the P&L summary.
Okay, so quickly, I'll walk you through 3 key points here in the PL summary and unit economics of Dr. Cutix. Well, let's start with the unit economics. You can see here from the table that Dr. Cutix is currently operating at a gross margin of around 50 to 51%, which is reasonable and potential for a value-driven dermocosmetic brand. And it's actually lower than premium international brands, actually, but simultaneously, it's similar to the margin to the most local players. Like, for example, Cocoon, due to science-backed positioning and its, in-house formulation. And coming to the CAC and digital marketing, you can see that Dr. Cutix has the CAC of spends $40 per customer, which means that it's similar to the Southeast Asian players with KOL strategies based, and actually, more specifically, the Dr. Cutix is more cost effective than Facebook and Google Ads only players brands. And coming to the customer lifetime value and repeat sales, Dr. Cutix aim to maximize the value per customer by product diversification, and it's also higher repeat sales than color cosmetics, comparable with La Roche-Posay and Som by Me in terms of trust building. And also the LTV on CAC as benchmarks. Dr. Cutix has the LTV on CAC of 3:1, which means that it can be improved. Thank you so much. Which can be improved in the Dr. Cutix. with the LTV on CAC, Dr. Tutic is solid as a D2C brand compared to the fellow D2C startups. And coming to the business projections, you can see that the Dr. Tutic has seen a CAGR of 12.23% of CAGR, which means that by 2024, Dr. Tutic has achieved, an explosive growth rate of around like 12%. And we project that a sustained growth rate by 2030, whereas Dr. Tutic will achieve like $30 million coming up to 2030. So, next slide, please. Okay, so coming to our funding round and valuation, Dr. Tutic, our funding round and valuation estimates the Dr. Tutic's potential for investor to invest in the Dr. Tutic.
I'm very sorry, but the time is up.
Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Team CAPM, for their presentation. Now it's time for the Q&A session with our judges.
Yeah, I'm just curious because the first thing that struck me was there was a lot of emphasis on Vietnamese skin. Is it different to other skin types?
Actually, because we find that the skincare market in Vietnam is already big enough, and we have not can wrap our hand around it, so we only remain the Vietnamese market to be our focus. We don't have the expectation to go global yet.
Yeah. So let me just ask a few questions as well. Firstly, Team CAPM, fantastic job. Honestly, thank you so much for putting all the work into the presentation and stuff. At least for I guess, the benefit of the audience and some of the judges, this is exactly why this competition is very difficult to do, because every team member is literally given one industry, beauty or asset management, and they are supposed to find all of this information and recommend a company to invest in their company, in their country, right? So I think you guys did a really good job in addressing all of the different, I guess, areas which us VCs will look into in terms of pricing, valuation, etc. But let me just give some quick feedback and comments to improve your presentation, right, in future. So of course, timing-wise, I think you could have been a little bit quicker and just conscious of timing, because this slide in front of you is probably the most important slide, because you are like a VC analyst, right? Pitching a deal to the investment committee. So this slide is important. One, I wish we had a little bit more time. Number two, I think your TAM, SAM, SOM analysis could be done a little bit better, because a SOM of approximately 13 million, which you guys showed, is way too small, right? I think you should have just done a SAM of entire skincare market, right? Because end of the day, many people may go towards derma cosmetics anyway, because it's cheaper. So they are competing with anyone in skincare, for example. So I think your SOM analysis could be much better. I'll just make that as an initial comment. And number two, maybe you could have dived deeper about the business model, right? Because the truth is, across beauty, you have many business models like marketplace, brands, etc. So you pick the correct one. I think brands have better unit economics. Number two, I think this space of pharma has some defensibility, right? Because you're creating it internally. So yeah, overall good presentation. And of course, like, you covered most of the points that we were looking for. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much.
Do we have time for more questions? One more question.
Maybe just to add to Vignesh's point, because I noticed in your projection, actually the revenue is like $15 million, but it's more than your SOM, right? Like, I think generally as PCs, one of the things we bet on is if there's a shift in consumer behavior. So then where we think maybe the TAM is, right, or the SOM is today might actually shift. So that's one thing to consider, right, as you pick investments. If there's indeed a shift, right, to more like, say like formulaic kind of like skincare treatment. And then I think the second is when you think about valuation, one thing to think about is maybe you have that your exit and return analysis, right, which we didn't have time. Maybe if you can just flip to the next page, right? Like one thing that we have to think about in terms of valuation, entry valuation is what our exit valuation is going to look like. Because if we know what our exit is going to look like, then we can see, right, what our return is and whether it justifies the risk or not. So I think it would be good to cover off on this few points as well in your future kind of evaluation.
Yeah, that's a great point. I just want to put fantastic presentation, but you think about it, right? If you want to exit at 50, would you enter at 25, right? Then you only have 2x returns. So you, instead of doing a 10 mil round, according to your presentation, you do slightly smaller. So you get a better val, you know, a little bit earlier at approximately 10 mil or something like this before it can go. So VVCs look for typically at least 5x type returns, right? Yeah, from the entry. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, thank you so much. Great presentation.
Okay, thank you so
Thank you,
much.
the judges.
Thank you so much, Team CapM. Next, let's welcome our finalists from Singapore, Team Mitra Yoshuara Investasi. Once again, I would like to remind that each team have 12 minutes for their presentation and 5 minutes for the Q&A. The bell will ring once at 3 minutes and twice at 1 minute remaining. Please join me in welcoming Team Mitra Yoshuara Investasi to the stage with a warm welcome.
Okay, hi everyone. Imagine this. We imagine the web as an iceberg, with the visible tip being threads from the open web. These threads are easily detected, easily traced back. And underneath the submerged areas, we have dark web threads. These threads are not easily detected and definitely difficult to be traced back. Selamat siang, everyone. We're from Teams Singapore, and joining me, Jennifer, is Jessica, Jasmine, and Samuel. And today we'll be pitching Stealth Mole, helping enterprises and governments tackle dark web cyber threats. So first of all, what exactly is Stealth Mole? So Stealth Mole is an SG-based dark web and deep web threat intelligence platforms leveraging on two key things, their AI and ML data mining capability, and also the ability to produce real-time and actionable intelligence. And when moving one step backwards, why is this solutions a critical need? So we see that the demand is actually very clear, with 78% of ransomware strains, 70% of cross-border fraud, and 41% of large-scale cyber attacks happening across these dark web markets. So as seen, these problems affect a lot of stakeholders, as seen in the slide here. And these are exactly the segments that Stealth Mole is targeting. Looking from a business model perspective, we see that the revenue drivers is primarily its subscription licensing ARR from three main customer segments: governments, law enforcement agencies, and also enterprises. Complemented by that would be bespoke threat intelligence services and a one-time consulting and training fee. From a cost perspective, we've bucketed them into 4 key different buckets, mainly COGS, which is anything to do with your infra data, maintenance, etc. R&D, which is your platform and model enhancements and development, sales and marketing, and last but not least, G&A. So if we look at the value chain, we see that Stealth Mole is actually sitting within majority of the value chain. And this is further supported by seasoned management comprising of experts with decades of experience in relevant industry. On a key milestone perspective, we see that in 2024, they've raised a 7 million Series A funding round, and this year, in 2025, they've secured multiple strategic partnerships. So moving on from an industry perspective, we see a growing prevalence in cyber attacks across the cyber value chain. And we see the annual cost of cybercrime increasing at a staggering 18.7% CAGR. And we see from a case study that even big enterprises, let's say Google, LVMH, and Workday, they are also prone to such threats. And these threats include things like data theft, etc. This is further propelled by an increase in growth from Tor networks activity and also over 300% growth in cybercrime as a service. And just like any other industry, with AI, ML, and quantum tech proliferation, these attacks, this efficiency of such attacks will further increase. And these 3 points collectively has shaped a sharp spike in this mission-critical demand, as we see in the dark web threat intelligence market be increasing very significantly. And moving one step down, we see from an industry overview in terms of a competitive landscape, we see 2 key takeaways essentially. First is that Stealth Mole is uniquely positioned to serve the APAC market, which sees a lack in such providers. And secondly, we see that there's a lack in features that give action response features, such as auto malware, sandboxing, security orchestration, and incidents reconstruction. So now I'll be passing my time to Jessica.
Jennifer. So now we're moving on to the investment thesis. So our first investment thesis is the attractive market opportunity. As you can see on the slide, there have been increasing cyber attacks, especially in the hardware, healthcare, and government, with steep year-on-year increases. And this is driven by the threat as a service ecosystems, from the ransomware, scam kits, state-sponsored threat, and guardrail infrastructure and anonymity. Traditional MSSPs have faced systemic headwinds from complex compliance regulations, SME budget strains, and even talent shortages. And Stealth Mole is able to address all of these challenges through their localized data processing and modular architecture, their automated intelligence and sandboxing tools, and lastly, their AI-based triage and dark web automation. So if we move on to this slide, you can see that rapid digitalization and data growth is expanding the need for actionable intelligence. And we highlight 3 key automation areas that drive Stealth Mole's value proposition. First is their auto malware sandboxing, which is for active containment and neutralization. Their security orchestration is for mitigation at speed and scale. And lastly, their incident reconstruction is to fix the root cause of the issue. We also see an increasing market which expands rapidly from their APAC dark web intelligence market, growing at a CAGR of 21.6%, and their global messenger security market growing at a 12.76%. So hence, from these opportunities, we identify our TAM as $6.08 billion, their SAM as $2.73 billion, and lastly, their SOM at $27.3 million. Moving on to our second thesis, which is on their solution-centric offerings. 65% of cyber criminals favor the dark web as preferred medium. 62% of security teams have noted the lack of effective dark web protection. And lastly, over half of organizations report increase in attacks even despite interventions. And this is further validated by analysts and CISOs who have stated that existing tools can't reach the dark web. Stealth Mole is able to tackle these challenges through their tailored solution offerings for law enforcement agencies, governments, and enterprises. Their AI and OSINT technologies, such as dark web tracker and monitoring, telegram tracker, and credential protection, have also automated discovery and risk assessment within encrypted ecosystems. And this is illustrated through the journey of Harley, who is a cyber threat analyst at a Southeast Asian national agency. And basically, across the workflow, distributed AI crawlers employ NLP and ML models for across 255 billion dark web records to detect anomalies. And next, release their CDF model that will convert these raw data into structured and actionable intelligence. And the
Third would be their AI visualization tool that traces threat vectors and user profiles. And lastly, their automated playbook, which with ML analytics, which reduces response time. Now I'll be passing on my time to Jasmine.
Now, moving on to thesis 3, we can see that government are increasingly facing attacks, cyber attacks, and this has increased their cyber defense spending. So these threats can be split into a 3-layered pyramid, which are state, agency, and data. These threats are magnified in the cyber matured regions such as the EUs and the Asia region. So here, Stealth Mode plays a strategic edge where it provides local APEC data intelligence, and it allows them to detect region-specific dark web threats where the global players often miss. With that, within Asia, we see a rise in cyber defense spending, which is exhibited through Japan, India, and Singapore. Moreover, with the favorable nature of the B2G contract, it provides size, stability, and duration. This will then provide a sticky, recurring, as well as a foreseeable revenue source. Moving on, Stealth Mode is well positioned to capture the B2G contract in 4 key factors. First, local language and platform coverage. And strategic partnerships, AI investor, as well as the low adoption and friction and modular bridge. This will then create a data flywheel. And now I'll pass my time off to Samuel.
Yep, thanks a lot, Jasmine. So I think, with the ring of the bell, we now move on to a more exciting section, talking about the value creation of Stealth Mode. So, I think the next question that we have to ask ourselves is, what lies ahead for this company? In this aspect, I think we believe that we can value add in 2 main ways. Firstly, helping the company to expand into new markets, and secondly, to expand into new customer segments. We'll be happy to go through this in further detail in the Q&A segment later, but moving on to an even more exciting section about the investment valuation. We use 4 key methods in terms of, trying to value Stealth Mode. Comparable companies, precedent transactions, the SaaS Capital Index, and finally the weighted rule of 40. And we blended these 4 methods in the following mix: 25% to public comparables, 50% of the average of precedent transactions and the SaaS Capital Index, and finally a 25% weightage to the weighted rule of 40. This actually derived an entry valuation of about 63.5 million, with our expected IRR and MOIC values expected to come out at about 20.3% and 1.7x, with a investment in FY25 expected to exit in a 6-year timeline at FY30. Moving on to our exit. Talking about the investment structure first, our pre to post money bridge is expected to rise from 63.5 million to 71.5 million with an 8 million capital injection. We also included some indicative terms in the illustrative term sheet that we believe would complement our proposed investment stake. Moving on to the exit strategy, we believe that our sale to strategic buyer is our preferred method due to the expected sales premium, along with the financial and operational synergies, which we believe would drive the business forward and also would allow us to exit our investment at the highest possible valuation at the highest possible probability. Of course, I think, of course, every investment comes with its risk, and I think, talking about some of the key risks here, we look at 4 key risks: market risk, product risk, competition risk, and regulatory risk. But I think, our team has ultimately came to a conclusion that none of these key risks are actually expected to be material or probable, which thus reinforces our conviction in Stealth Mode. And with that, we've come to the end of our presentation, and we welcome any questions from the judges. Thank you.
Okay, judges, this is now the time for the Q&A session.
Okay, not really a question, but actually, yeah, a question first. Which one of you guys intern at a consulting company? None of you guys? Okay.
Myself.
It's even more impressive then. Great deck, great presentation, a lot of information that you had there. Remembering there's 12 minutes for you guys to go through it, given the amount of information you have there is pretty well done. I think the industry that you guys ended up selecting to do is actually something that we ourselves are currently looking into. Very current affairs, especially in Indonesia, a bunch of recent high-profile hacking happening in the banking industry. So yeah, this is actually quite interesting. Yeah. Anyone else?
Well, I just have one feedback actually. I think you can make the exit projection. I think you project to exit at 1.75x. I think for VC investments, I think as the guys was mentioning in an earlier presentation, could make it, as Vic was mentioning, could make it more exciting. I guess for me personally, I typically look for at least a 35% IRR. And as Vic mentioned as well, 5x. So I guess next time be more aggressive in terms of valuation.
Thank you.
We have time for one more question.
Just quick comments, and I'll pass to Carlson as well. Very good presentation. I think like you covered so many points. I just wish you spend more time around this segment, which is pricing, exit, even your exit strategy. I liked it. You had strategic buyers, you had IPO. I don't know why a financial buyer like SoftBank or Peak 15 will buy it. Other than that, dark trades, all of Bursa makes sense. So it's pretty good, but I'm in agreement with regards to the valuation. This is like a Series B deal, right? It's a good company, tracking well, but it's a little bit later stage. So yes, because it's Series B, the potential for the company should still, in principle, to be a good VC deal. Maybe there's more traction, so you are okay with 3 to 5x type, right? So there still must be some sort of further upside, but overall very good. Thanks.
Maybe just a minor comment on your previous slide, right? Like, what's the exit timeline for the IRR exit slide?
Yup, so basically we aim to enter in FY25 and exit in FY30, so it's a 6-year timeline.
6 years. But then, if you have a 20% blended gross IRR, how come it's only 1.68 times, right? So I think there's some averaging error there, actually.
So we actually blended it in the same weightage as the IRR and the multiples.
Actually, what you should do is you should do the multiple and then you back out the IRR.
Okay.
Yeah. Because if not, 20% is actually too high.
Thanks a lot for the feedback.
Okay, I think that's it for our Q&A session. Let's give a warm applause for Team Mitra Wisudara. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we will now take a 30-minute break. During this time, please enjoy a special Kolintang performance by our talented students from BINUS University. Bilintang or Binusian performing with Kolintang derives from the word bi, which symbolizes a hardworking, diligent, loyal, and creative creatures, and lintang, which is an abbreviation of the traditional Indonesian musical instrument Kolintang. The bi represents productivity and dedication to both itself and its community. This very spirit inspires Bilintang as a reflection of Binusians who are creative and talented, particularly in preserving the art of Kolintang music as a part of Indonesia's rich cultural heritage. Bilintang has participated in various prestigious events, such as Best of Asia Performing Arts attended by 11 Asian countries on November 29 until 30, the United Nations 2024 celebration, as well as several performances during BINUS University's graduation ceremony since 2023. A remarkable achievement was marked by receiving the Indonesian World Museum's Muri Award on November 25, 2024, recognizing BINUS University as the first higher education institution in Asia to hold a graduation ceremony, accompanied by Kolintang music. Okay, everyone, I would also like to remind that after the break, please come back to your seats because we will proceed with the next team presentation. Thank you. Okay, back on Bilintang, furthermore, on December 5, 2024, Kolintang was officially recognized as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity by UNESCO. With this acknowledgement, it is hoped that Kolintang will become more widely known and appreciated on the global stage, inspiring young Binusians to continue and preserving and celebrating Indonesia's cultural heritage. So everyone, please sit back, relax, and enjoy the performance, and please be back by 11:30. Thank you. Welcome back, everyone. So, before we begin, I hope you have a great break. And I would like to give a little context on this competition. So, all participants in the Startup Wars 2025 competition were given a respective industries to choose from. And they will act as a role of analysts. And today, they will pitch their chosen industry and the best company to invest in their country to the judges. And here, all the judges will judge based on their own respective investment perspective. Okay, so now let's proceed with the next team presentation, representing the Philippines, Team Leverage. As a reminder, each team have 12 minutes to present and 5 minutes for the Q&A session. A bell will signal at 3 minutes and a double bell at the 1 minute remaining. Let's give Team Leverage a big round of applause.
If you've ever lived in the Philippines or at least stayed in a Southeast Asian country, you probably know what the reality is.
Sticky?
Moist?
Burning.
And this wet and dry climate isn't just something uncomfortable. It's already an intensifying barrier to looking and feeling unprofessional. And imagine running to a job interview, and the last thing, of course, that you want to think about is your appearance. And this isn't just anymore an environmental crisis. It's already a product performance crisis for millions of consumers across Southeast Asia. And the Philippine market is now at 6.8 billion, but the vast majority of products still rely on formulas that simply cannot handle the more intense climate that we have. And this is where Team Leverage comes. And we're here to present to you Get Ready With Me Cosmetics. And Get Ready With Me is a popular phrase that is used in social media, especially for beauty influencers. And the company, or Get Ready With Me Cosmetics, isn't just filling a gap. They are building the climate-proof standard for the future as the climate pressure intensifies. Get Ready With Me rises above the competition for continuously focusing on formulation and formula-first R&D. This is to ensure that their products always withstand the environment. And not to mention, they are also FDA approved, PETA certified, and vegan. And to put things in numbers, now let's quantify the financial magnitude of the opportunity Get Ready With Me is uniquely positioned to unlock. The TAM is the entire beauty and personal care industry in the Philippines, and the market is valued at $6.8 billion. It's a high sector projected to increase at 5.8 CAGR, reaching 11.1 billion by 2027. And SAM, on the other hand, is a segment that we can immediately target with Get Ready With Me's color cosmetic line. Color cosmetics typically amount to 25 to 35% of the total BPC market. And with that, we can estimate that the SAM is at $2.2 billion. And lastly, for the SOM is a highly defensible and achievable portion of the SAM. The global weatherproof market, valued at 32.72 billion at a growing 6.5% CAGR. This is 18% of the color cosmetics, and this translates to an immediate $396 million.
So the Southeast Asian beauty market sales rose up to $15.8 billion this year, and a staggering growth of 20% year on year. 87% of this revenue comes from its e-commerce platforms, our core channel. Within the market, the Philippines stands out as the third largest beauty spend per capita. We see fragmentation and complex regulation as headwinds, where we can leverage our consolidator vision to build a sturdy market position. So as for our global players, would often fail to address these local skin tones and climate needs. Get Ready With Me's local defensibility is simple: high performance, climate-proof quality at an affordable price. Their commitment is to be the reliable and the everyday solution of consumers. This combination of climate-proof performance and local inclusivity is our asset. As for their go-to-market strategy, they rely on near-zero customer acquisition cost flywheel. Their high-performance, climate-proof formulas generate immense trust and user-generated content, meaning customers drive the sales and not expensive advertising. This is evident in their dominant e-commerce presence, wherein they have 900,000 followers on Shopee and 431,000 followers on TikTok, and which directly translates into a massive volume, and including over 500,000 units sold on TikTok alone. Get Ready With Me is leveraging their speed and digital dominance to establish a footprint in key Filipino regions, namely Metro Manila, Calabarzon, and Davao.
Get Ready With Me's success is powered by a direct-to-consumer model. So this brand's edge lies in its capital efficiency. With just $43,000 in seed capital, Get Ready With Me has generated $3.89 million in lifetime revenue. That's a 90 times revenue to capital ratio. That is the clearest point of our zero CAC flywheel. And financially, the business stands on solid ground. It has 66% gross margin, showing strong pricing power. It has a conservative 10% to marketing and sales, which is roughly less than half the industry average. And alongside 33% general and admin OPEX and 18% EBITDA. This is already a proven model ready to scale. And so Get Ready With Me's Hero series, which is again all about that base, makes about 88% of that total revenue. That just last month, next slide please, this focused series launched its second volume and achieved a record 12% spike in platform traction in just the first week. And they have been consistently defined by these formula-first innovations and fearless product drops since its 2021 launch. They have an action bias, and they win by moving quickly in research and development by responding to these platform shifts. Year 1 introduced multi-purpose makeup. Year 2 shifted to long-wearing essentials. Year 3 completed its initial first volume of its hero line. And now in year 4, it has a multi-pan palette, marking its expansion from complexion to full-face beauty. And across these, Get Ready With Me has sold over 1.7 million units, successfully sustaining over 10 SKUs per drop. Get Ready With Me is currently valued at $5 million. And next slide, please. This $2 million investment that we're asking for aims to unlock the next growth stage, projected to yield an exponential 6.5 times in return. And we'll get there by ensuring all about that base remains the standard in climate-proof performance, cutting the cost of goods sold by 15% through automation and optimization, by strategic regional expansion, and by strengthening finances to build the backbone for growth. Next slide. This year's first 2 quarters have actually shown a 2 to 3 times more growth, building the next 5 years' momentum. And so it grows at a 66.8% CAGR, as 87% of Philippine e-commerce sales are already in beauty. And we have a trend in specific that follows these in Southeast Asia. Since just this quarter, 4% of e-commerce sales were already from outside of the Philippines. And so there is large potential when we allocate more intentional efforts towards this. And so profitability is equally strong because we have a gross profit margin that can rise to 68% by year 5 and an EBITDA to 28%, which reflects strong cost control.
As for our investment and divestment strategy, we're looking at a 7-year investment here. So when we invest $1.8 million, sorry, this isn't $1,000 when we invest that within the first 4 years, we're expecting a $11.7 million return and a 6.5x return on capital over the 7 years. And this is quite a conservative value considering our 90x multiplier. And this investment strategy has an implied 51% IRR rate. Next slide, please. So moving on to the risk and mitigations. Of course, first are the competitors. And the landscape is quite competitive at the moment. It's very oversaturated. But this is not a problem for Get Ready With Me, as we have this innovation mode where we are one of the first that innovate for the C climate and formula-focused weather, makeup, cosmetics. And second are the cultural and language barriers. So apart from this, the Philippines has a 97% use of the English language when it comes to e-commerce, retail, and even physical labels. So when we try to move to international or other regions, it will become easier for us compared to other regions. Next is geographic expansion, and we do want to consider moving to tier 2 and 3 cities within the country, and Get Ready With Me has been doing this, moving into lower income provinces and lower income urbanized cities. And last is regulatory trust, and we will be achieving this through PIF management, IP protection, certification roadmap, and having a local responsible person, and ensuring that all of these mitigations will work towards achieving our goal of 6x and hopefully more. So next slide, please. As for our exit strategies, the first one is initial public offering. And in terms of the Philippine landscape, the Philippine Stock Exchange has been lowering their requirements for float requirements. And in terms of the valuation, currently in 2025, we have $2.8 million, and it's projected to grow into 3.0 billion in the next year. So in terms of private equity buyout, we have this as another option if you want to avoid the market volatility. And we want to try to rely on these PE secondaries instead, who are more active in terms of investment when it comes to this. So I hope you guys can, with your support, you can get ready and help us give Get Ready With Me a chance.
And we hope that we build for Southeast Asia's harshest condition. Get Ready With Me dominates with confidence that lasts, charting its path from a profitable niche player today to the climate-proof benchmarks of the $36 million sea beauty market. And thank you for listening.
Thank you, Team Leverage. Now is the Q&A session from the judges.
Great presentation. Just want to learn more about the exit landscape. I thought it was not very clear. It says 4,200K. I guess maybe, yeah, the 2 slides. I guess, can you guys elaborate more on that? And also in terms of the, drawdown, do you guys mean like drawdown over 4 years? The implied exit. Yeah, that one. The implied exit, 4,200K. Can you guys elaborate more on that figure? Yeah.
It's from the previous slide here. The 7-year divestment exit proceeds. So, to be completely honest, our team didn't have much time to complete the presentation. So we were in a rush to enter the data. And I guess we really tried to just maximize our time with this.
Okay, got it. Thank you. And in terms of the drawdown capital called year 1, 2, 3, 4, may I know what is the thought process behind that? Because typically, just sharing from my experience, I think when we like investing in D2Cs as well. Typically we will not invest over a 4 years period, just because you will know if the company will sort of go to the next level or not within the first year when they release a certain SKU. And then I think just now also another thing about your presentation that I thought you could talk more about the company's hero product. For example, like Kopi Kenangan, I think in the early years, 80 to 90% of the sales came from one product. And I think that's what made the brand really good. Yeah.
I think to that, yeah, we did mention that similar to the brand that you mentioned,
88%, right, of sales
Single
come from
product.
that hero line.
Got
And
it.
so, just so you have context, that hero line is composed of base makeup products. And so that looks like foundation, primer, it's a set. And that's really beneficial for the company because they can sell it at a higher price point. They can sell more SKUs, right?
Yeah.
And so, yeah. You can
Got it. Thank you.
Maybe if you can go to the 2x2, right? That metric that you have with the competitors, no? Like maybe the previous, there was a previous slide where you have a competitor analysis. Yeah, this one. Huh? So I think when we look at consumer products, usually it's a very crowded space. So what we want is USP, right? Unique selling proposition. So in this case, like it seems that GRWM is neither too affordable, but also neither too high performance, right? So then it seems that it's lost in that middle. And maybe one of the things that you can think about now as you look at future deals and investment is like what are the unique characteristics, right, to pull out now? Maybe it's not this along this metric, right? Maybe it's not affordability or premium or high performance or hand-driven, right? But the key is it has to be really number one, right, in that category that it's competing in, because it's a very crowded space. I think as you knew from the risk and mitigant slide as well. So maybe just a point to highlight now.
Yeah, thanks for that insight. Actually, the purpose of this competitive landscape is really showing you like recognizable brands from across Southeast Asia and also the Western market, just so you can kind of gauge. And I think it's also important to note that these brands here, they've been established for, on average, more than 5 years ago. And Get Ready With Me is only on its 4th year. And so I think that it kind of gives you a position of where it's at now, only on its 4th year, and the potential it can have in the next years, given more capital.
Understand. Okay.
Okay, that is all. That is all.
One last point. I think you should play up on the, when you talk about climate, you should also play up as to the potential for this to be ESG hero, as to how can it be socially responsible and environmentally responsible, and some of the governance standard, and what are some of the actions that the Get Ready With Me are taking in order to make it great.
Yeah, thanks for that feedback. Am I allowed to comment on that?
Yeah.
Oh, actually, because of the constraint of the, could we go to the slide of the one with the product roadmap? Product roadmap. But actually, we briefly hinted on this, but on our 4th year, right now they have launched the face card multi-pan palette, and what they're doing there is essentially it's a pan, and we didn't really touch on this because we wanted to focus on the Hero series due to the constraint of time. But what makes it sustainable is they sell these refills that contribute to this this pan that you can conveniently go anywhere with. And so I feel like that kind of goes into sustainability. And in future competitions, we'll make sure to include that aspect. Thank you for bringing up ESG.
Okay, that concludes our Q&A session. Thank you for Team Leverage. Just give a warm applause. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, next, please welcome Team Spark Aura, proudly representing Malaysia. I would like to remind that you have 12 minutes presentation time and 5 minutes for Q&A, with a single bell sound at 3 minutes and a double bell at 1 minute remaining. Let's give Team Spark Aura an enthusiastic round of applause.
Hello, testing, 1, 2, 3.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. Testing.
Good afternoon to all the judges here. I'm Leshan, and together with my teammates here, we're actually from Team Spark Aura Malaysia, and we're representing Samir University. So today, our goal is to pitch our idea, our company, Armor Zero, which is set to change the entire cybersecurity industry in Southeast Asia. We would also like to explain and pitch our idea on why this is a good investment for the VCs. First of all, Armor Zero has a B2B subscription-based SaaS model, or we call it cybersecurity as a service. It operates under a SaaS model that integrates multiple tools through a cloud platform and managed service layer. It integrates vulnerability detection, AI integration, and also risk compliances. So it is set to advance in the economy itself. And as for the revenue model, it's running on a recurring revenue model through a SaaS subscription, meaning that will have a stable cash flow coming in every month with high profit margin. So we believe that this is a good opportunity for the VCs to invest in. And and most importantly, when we look at VC, we need to look at the founders, right? Because they are the most important. So our CEO here, Mr. To, has 20 years of working experience in cybersecurity industry itself, right? So because of the 20 years of working experiences, he has a lot of networks, I'm saying a lot, with enterprise clients, regulators, and also channel partnership across Malaysia, Singapore, and also Indonesia. And we believe that he has the opportunity to bring this company to the end. He also knows the co-founder, Chang Wai-Lun, since primary school. So we believe that because of the synergy and teamwork and trust that built since their very young age, when they're in primary school, it puts them in an advantage because VCs are looking for synergies and also teamwork and trust. So now, I'll be moving on to the next part where Letitia will be explaining.
Thank you, Lershan. All right, I'll walk you through our investor journey. In fact, we were fortunate enough to even engage with the founder, Mr. To, where we learn more about his vision and how he can transform the entire cybersecurity industry. So Armor Zero is born in 2022 with a vision to further accelerate vulnerability AI management. So in 2023, they managed to scale to Singapore and Indonesia. And currently they're in the seed stage where they managed to secure an investment fund from Gobi Partners backed by Khazanah Dana Impact Initiative, meaning they saw a potential that this startup will succeed in the future. As we further learn about the business model from the founder, we've come to realize that he wants to exit within this timeline, which is 2029 to 2030, where he preferred to do M&A instead of going IPO. All right, so you might be wondering, what is the largest market in Asia? So I've compared the global and Asian market as well. So as you can see, Malaysia has the highest market in Asia, where it has USD of 6.2 billion of SAM and 3.82 billion of TAM and SAM and 0.86 billion of SOM. Moving on to the next slide, please. Will be so here is the demand that is surging in the market. So when we asked him further where he would like to scale, he would like to target Middle East country and Northeast Asia. As you can see, this is the fastest and largest size. I'll be passing on to Leshan for risk and mitigation.
Thank you, Letitia. So for every business, there's always a risk and also a mitigation plan. Well, for Armor Zero, that's the case either. Well, so the first risk that we have identified is that there's a severe shortage of cybersecurity professionals. It is estimated that in the Asia-Pacific region itself, there's a lacking 2.6 million professionals in this industry. So to mitigate this, Armor Zero has automated and integrated AI into its business, and also to collab with local universities such as AP University from Malaysia. And second of all, it's about the global competitors entering into the market, specifically the Asia market, and also the Southeast Asia market. So to counter this, Armor Zero has a plan to differentiate themselves via local compliances. They'll have specific regional support and also tailor-made compliance for the businesses that operates in Southeast Asia. Next, I'll be passing on to my teammate.
Move on to investment thesis one. So our investment thesis one is experienced founder with strong leadership and clear growth roadmap. CEO Mr. Do has over 20 years working experience in cybersecurity such as North Asia and also Middle East, which are the largest market and fastest growing market. And for their business projection from founders, so they aim to reach $35 million by 2027. Currently, they are developing cybersecurity solutions, including application security and cloud infrastructure. So they have a very strong network and recognition through partnership and also global events. Moving on to investment thesis 2, this Zero capitalized the largest market and regulation-backed opportunity, increased regulation such as in RMIT. It can enforce the continuous tech risk monitoring and also expanding the adoption through regulated industries such as education, financial institution, and many more. And also, Zero have reached 1.5 million revenue in 2025 by only through 12 people in the team and through 9 channel partnerships in 9 different countries with 31 partners. So their compliance excellence are recognized and also they are supported by Bobby Kazana.
So with the regulation-fueled growth, Zero is strongly positioned to capture this market opportunity. Nowadays, enterprises faces a problem. Regulations require them to do 24/7 monitoring and rapid incident response. However, to do this, enterprises requires a lot of resources and money. At this time, Zero steps in and solves the problem through its product, managed detection and also response. This product allows enterprises to automatically defend their systems and also continuously monitor their systems. It's like a 24/7 security team without a 24/7 security team cost. Moving on, they also have a product AI automated vulnerability management. Nowadays, regulations are requiring enterprises to have regular vulnerability management tests. However, many enterprises are still relying on annually checks and also manual checks, which is very inefficient and also wastes a lot of time. Through Zero's product, the enterprises can continuously monitor the vulnerabilities and automatically scan systems to identify vulnerabilities at an early stage and also identify false positives, which is much more efficient and saves a lot of time. Moving on, investment thesis 3. Zero's strength also lies at its scalable and defensible business model. Its business model of subscription-based SaaS model allows enterprises from small to large to adopt to their product and also allows them to have predictable and profitable revenue through monthly and also annual contracts. And with 4 to 5 long-term contracts, it allows them to have high customer stickiness and also strong retention because it is hard for companies to switch systems. And with that, they have an exceptional unit economics of 5.93 of LTV and CAC, which indicates that they get high value from customers with minimal sales and marketing costs. And they also have a high amount of gross margin of 82% with a very high efficiency of capital use. And they also have a very scalable and cost-efficient growth with low sales and marketing overhead and also channel partnerships across 9 different countries with 31 different partners. And lastly, their modular pricing model allows them to upsell and cross-sell easily, which increase their revenue per customer. In conclusion, Zero's model is very scalable and drives sustainable growth.
Well, in our finding, we also identified that the APAC region, the MEA region, and the ASEAN region is the fastest growing cybersecurity regions globally. However, we also identified that there's no dominant vulnerability management player currently serving in these markets. Well, this is an opportunity. Zero can capture this untapped opportunity with a first mover advantage in Southeast Asia. The reason why they can do this is because they stand out. First of all, Zero has a deep alignment with PDPA and local data regulations. Second of all, they also have a localized pricing and fast onboarding. Thirdly, they also have regional enterprises and channel partnerships, All of these which makes them stand out compared to their competitors from the US and also from Israel.
So we have proved that Alma Zero has the right to win, and we propose a 4 million funding for its Series A happening next year with a 9 million pre-money valuation. We believe that 4 million raised for Series A is reasonable as it provides a 30% dilution of ownership and also is considered as quite conservative if we compare it with the other Series A raised in C here. And the purpose of this raise would be to develop their products more and also further expand their regions.
So moving on to the exit and return analysis. So Alma Zero plan to have Series A funding in next year, which raised about 4 million. And also their exit strategy. In 5 years, we foresee and strategic acquisition by global partners. And they're targeting a 410 million exit value and delivering approximately 30 times MOIC and 98% IRR, which is a very attractive entry point for Series A investor. Moving on to the conclusion.
In conclusion, we have identified that Alma Zero is the choice because it has the first mover advantage, a scalable SaaS economics, a proven founders with 20 years of experiences, and also a regulation-free growth. It also aligns with the United Nations SDG goal. So we would like to highlight that Alma Zero is positioned to be Southeast Asia's category-defining cybersecurity platform, scalable, defensible, and primed for regional dominance. So that's all from Team Spark. Aura?
Okay, presentation time is up.
Thank you.
Now we'll continue with the Q&A session from our judges.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, guys. So firstly, great job. I think you guys have covered every segment to a certain extent. I think competitor analysis could have done a little bit more work in terms of especially showcasing the product which they have and how exactly they have a competitive edge. Because our realization is that somehow in the space of cybersecurity, if it's purely software, there are several global players who can build better software than potentially Southeast Asians. Right? Especially companies from China, the US, etc. So you could have explained a little bit more around their defensibility because they're on the ground here, right? They can meet the customers. They have a little bit more of a, what do you call it, a direct and a better, I guess, sales strategy. My question is really around your valuation bit, right? If you go to your a couple of slides before this, okay, that one, just stay at the slide after this, the one in the orange slide. So if you look at your comms on the exit multiple there, I think it's like something like a 410 mil on 68 mil revenue, so it's like 6 times, right? So just some comments, if you go to your slide before this, your Series A, you're suggesting it. If they have 1.5 mil revenue, you're suggesting a 9 mil valuation, which is quite aligned, but I would imagine that for a business like this, especially now, in the earlier stage, you would have comms of like 5 to 10 times ARR. So it could be slightly higher if you're actually putting in 4 mil into it.
Right.
So just slight comments around valuation, but if you really can take 30% of the company at this price, it's pretty impressive. You know, but I do think it's quite aggressive. But other than that, very good. You covered most of the points.
Thank you, sir.
All right, from my end, thanks so much for the presentation. I actually noticed you guys used the 3 investment thesis to explain the business model as well as the competitor slide, which could be good, could be not so good. I do recommend you guys backing it out, creating its own slide on full-on, you know, actually Vic mentioned already, like the competitors, what their breakdown is like, a quick overview of the business model, and then diving deeper based on the investment thesis on those items. A second one from me is you listed 30% dilution for Series A for the new investors. It does seem a bit high from the perspective of the founder, so just something to keep in mind. Yeah.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay, we have time for one more question.
Maybe just quickly, I think like just to add on to Richard's point, right? Like usually as VCs, the first thing we look at is the product.
Yeah.
So I think if you can highlight it, right, more rather than infuse it into the investment thesis, right? Like what exactly is it a product? Is it endpoint security, cloud security, or application security? So then it gets clearer, right? And at what point in the value chain do they actually play? So I think if you can emphasize that more upfront, right? That will help us frame like the thinking. I understand you put it in the investment thesis, but like kind of as we go on, then we realize, oh, this is the product, right?
We understand. Thank you so much.
Okay, that is all. Let's give Team
Thank you.
Spark Aura an enthusiastic round of applause. Sorry. Okay. And finally, we have Team Lushpad Ventures representing Indonesia. As I said before, each team have 12 minutes for its presentation time and 5 minutes for its Q&A. A single bell will be sound at 3 minutes and a double bell at 1 minute. Let's give Team Lushpad Ventures a warm round of applause.
Okay, so good afternoon, respected judges and all of the audience here. There are only two types of companies in this world. Those who have been hacked and those who don't know yet that they have been hacked. So judges, let us present to you Paris AI. Paris AI was founded at 2022 and is a cybersecurity company, and it is headquartered in Singapore, which it delivers a product tailored for the Southeast Asia mid-market segment. The company achieves 12 times faster time to detect at just half the cost and with 3 times leaner operations compared to the traditional security operations. And with a strong traction, company has already proven its scalability and also its efficiency. So our investment case was built on 3 main pillars. It starts with how Paris AI is capturing the mid-market opportunity while being led by proven founders and leaders into the economic aspects that can lead the investment into a clear and predictable exit path. So, judges, let us represent to you our first thesis about the market fit. So, our first thesis will mainly talk about the mid-market gap that creates a clear and strong opportunity for Paris AI to deliver a product that can lead the mid-market segment at Southeast Asia. So it doesn't take us any much more time to present to you who Paris AI is and how this company operates. Paris AI, founded at 2022, is a managed detection response startup combining agentic AI and hyper-automation to create a product that is faster, smarter, and more adaptive for enterprises. Paris AI itself is targeting the mid-market segment, which it needs an enterprise grade of protection without enterprise-level cost. With headquarters in Singapore and core operations in Indonesia, it fits perfectly at the heart of fast-growing cybersecurity at Southeast Asia. Its core model is a subscription-based model complemented with Pentest as a service and a bug bounty platform, creating a perfect, recurring, and diversified revenue model. And through a clear product roadmap, we can easily say that Paris AI has evolved from creating its blue team and red team tools into fully focused on creating AI orchestration and regional scalability by 2026. So, judges, after we see about how the company operates, let's see how the company can capture the market opportunity. Indonesia sits within the Southeast Asia 10.3 billion cybersecurity market, which capture 1.1 billion local opportunities, and Paris AI itself is targeting the $110 million cybersecurity market. With over 3.6 billion cyber attacks that happened this year, and with the tighter PDP Act enforcement and also the global talent shortage, nothing is more urgent than this demand for Paris AI. So, judges, let me take you to the how Paris AI can fill the gap in the mid-market gap. So, the majority of mid-market enterprises in Indonesia are still using legacy tools that built in 2010, even before 2010. And while we know the fact that already 3.64 billion cyber attacks happened in just half of 2025, and each cyber attack can lead up to $3 million losses just for a single attack. So, Paris AI brings the solution that combines hyper-automation and AI-driven security to create a product that is more adaptable and can be fine-tuned into the company's current existing cybersecurity tools. So, with proven clients, backed up by venture capitals and trust by multiple government agencies, Paris AI has proven both strong traction and strong market validation.
After we see about the market fit, we next to the competition. Cybersecurity startup is only focused on one thing, that is leadership and fixing some issues problem. And Paris AI is different. They different with others, and they projections into problem scientifics. And we move to the thesis 2. Thesis 2 is Paris AI is driven by proven founders, execute 12 times faster detection, 46.7 lower costs, and 3 times leaner operations. And all the success is just because the product, but it becomes a team. And the team is a strong and balanced team, and it's led by David Samuel as the CEO of Paris AI. This is a creative person and with 15 years experience in AI, software, and cybersecurity, and is aligned with the all cybersecurity industry projection in this part. And you can see on the right side, you can see the team are fit together, and it can be make a Paris AI more stronger, successful with technology and businesses.
So, with the proven team skills and background, they built Brahma IRP as the core product, which automate the engine, AI threat analysis, and Bina Red for attack surface management. This product provides 12 times faster threat detection, lesser manpower, and nearly half the cost compared to traditional security approach. We've seen how Paris AI outperforms traditional security approach. Now, let's see how Paris AI compared to the other AI-driven MDR companies. Paris AI combine hyper-automation and fine-tuning models based on the customer topology environment, which make the model to be localized for each specific customer case. Paris AI also enable easy creation playbooks and on-premise deployment support while aligning with the country compliance requirement. Now that we've seen the team behind the Paris AI and the product itself, let's start with our third thesis that will show how proven traction and scalable economics driving Paris AI towards a predictable exit path. The company now serves about 99 clients, which consists of 19 mid-enterprises and 80 small-medium business, with 80% from Indonesia, 20% from Singapore and Philippines, while also expanding to Saudi Arabia and Jordan. These timeline projections highlight Paris AI rapid growth with strong revenue growth rate and high profit margin up to about 70%, indicating that Paris AI is a scalable and high potential business. So we are entering the funding round and cap table. So Paris AI is a cybersecurity startup company with rapid growth, with the first funding of pre-seed by East Venture and Magic Fund about $500,000. And currently in 2025, Paris AI is targeting a raise of $3 million, which was presented by the CEO of the Paris AI in the Super AI Singapore 2025 competition. While Paris AI shows strong potential, we are aware of the current risk that comes in high-stakes AI and cybersecurity market. First, the AI bias and transparency risk, which can be mitigated with strict governance standards for the accountability. Second, the competitive pressure from global vendors and data compliance risk, which can be mitigated with strong governance data and encrypting the sensitive information. And lastly, the scalability and regional expansion risk, which can be mitigated by monitoring and recovery planning.
respected judges. Now let's focus how can the business model of Paris AI bring you the real value. Paris AI is the real growth market and access strategy. With the 2032, Paris AI is achieved IRR 23 million, supported by consistent profitability and compliant revenues. With two exit scenarios, the first is acquisition by global market strategy, like Bitcoin and Bitdefender. The second is IPO, following the big company like ITC Asia. It's in the opportunity to investor to exit from this industry in 7 years. With proprietary technology, recurring revenue, and sector differentiational, downside is manageable. In essence, judges and the audience, Paris AI not over AI cybersecurity. It represents how the scalable investment and the future of the cybersecurity in Southeast Asia. Today, we invite you to join with the Paris AI. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Team Launchpad Vendors, for the presentation. Now is the Q&A session from our judges.
I think we want to see how you arrive at the jump in profitability from that and the revenue.
Is this one?
No, was it? Oh yes, that's one. How did you go from 840,000 to 5.6 million? How are you planning to achieve this?
Oh, so based on our research and findings, the Paris AI is currently raising a $3 million for scalability the business, and the funding itself will be used for scaling and advancing the product development and customer acquisition. From the projection, the revenue is projected at $9 million by 2027 with gross profit margin based on our interview with the CFO of Paris AI, Mr. Stephen Wu. The gross profit margin is about 70% more or less. That's why we expected the gross profit of 70% of $9 million.
I guess I have another question. 2032, 31.6 million ARR projected. I think in the next slide, I think you put 22 million.
It said above, more than. Yeah, is one right? Above, not 23 million.
Okay, got it.
Hey, honestly, good presentation. Thanks a lot, guys. But quick question. Because you guys have picked an industry where several other of your peers also pick. So if you go back to your competition slide, and also just a general question, how could you pitch to us as the investment committee that we should back Paris AI versus Armour Zero? It's about the same revenue. It's 1.3 versus 1.5, about the same markets, similar kind of space. So just curious to hear your view.
Okay, thank you for the question, sir. So for that, of course, for Paris AI, this company has its own unique selling propositions that differentiate this company from other global competitors like Palo Alto or maybe CrowdStrike. So this Paris AI is offering a value that other company cannot mimic this value. So the company is offering a fine tune into the company's current system. So there like a differentiate between the keywords of Paris AI and other global competitors. For Paris AI, their keywords is collaborations. So for them, their unique selling proposition is that their program, like their platform, can be fine-tuned into the company's current existing cybersecurity tools. Thank you.
Okay, I think we have time for one more question or feedback.
It's not so much a question, but if you go back to the team, I think that you talked a lot about the founder, but it would be good at this point as to the combined abilities or the combined experience of the team. And to what extent can the product be further refined to be superior to the competition? I think that's useful. And speaker is not experienced, by the way.
Okay, thank you, judges and Team Lashat Panthers. Let's give them a round of applause, everyone. Okay, thank you, Team Lashpath. And that concludes our presentation for today. What an incredible showcase of ideas and insights from our finalists across Southeast Asia. And now, to all participants. Okay. Okay, now to proceed, to all participants, it's your turn to have a say. Audience voting is officially open. Please cast your votes through the link or the QR codes shown in the screen in front of you. Remember, your votes will contribute to the final scoring as an external factor to the judges' decision. So please make them count. And I would also like to remind that this voting will be open until 2 minutes. Once again, I would like for all of us to give a round of applause to all the finalists for today for their amazing presentation. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, while our judges deliberate and finalize the score, we have a special performance by Miss Dewa Ayu Devina Audrey Natania. She is a lecturer at BINUS University, a PhD student, and a data analyst at BINUS Research, a dedicated researcher and educator with a strong background in computer science, data analytics, and artificial intelligence. With over 5 years of research experience, she has contributed to advancement in machine learning, bioinformatics, and geospatial analysis, turning complex data into meaningful insights. But beyond the data and research, she is a certified classical pianist, and today she will be sharing that artistic side with us through a beautiful piano performance. Please join me in welcoming Miss Dewa Ayu Devina Audrey Natania with a big round of applause. Miss Ayu, the stage is yours.
stay awake just to hear you breathing. Watch you smile while you were sleeping, while you're far away and dreaming. I could spend my life in this sweet surrender. I could stay lost in this moment forever. Every moment spent with you is a moment I treasure. Don't wanna close my eyes, I don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I miss you, babe. And I don't wanna miss a thing, 'cause even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream would never do. I still miss you, babe, and I don't wanna miss a thing. Lying close to you, feeling your heart beating, and I'm wondering what you're dreaming, wondering if it's you're seeing. And I kiss your eyes and thank God we're together. I just wanna stay with you in this moment forever, forever and ever. Don't wanna close my eyes, don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I miss you, babe, and I don't wanna miss a thing, 'cause even when I dream of you, the sweetest dream would never do. I still miss you, babe, and I don't wanna miss a thing. I don't wanna miss one smile, I don't wanna miss one kiss. I just wanna be with you, right here with you, just like this. I just wanna hold you close, feel your heart so close to mine, and just stay in this moment for all the rest of time. Don't wanna close my eyes, I don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I miss you, babe, and I don't wanna miss a thing, 'cause even when I dream of you, the sweetest will never true. I still miss you, babe, and I don't wanna miss a thing. I don't wanna miss one smile, I don't wanna fall asleep, 'cause I miss you, babe, and I don't wanna miss a thing. When you try your best, but you don't succeed. When you get what you want, but no, not know what you need. When you feel so tired, but you can't sleep, stuck in reverse, and the tears come streaming down your face. When you lose something you can't replace, when you love someone but it goes to waste, could it be worse? Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. High up above or down below, when you're too in love to let it go. But if you never try, you'll never know just what you're worth. Lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. Tears stream down your face when you lose something you cannot replace. Tears stream down your face, and tears stream down your face. I promise you I will learn from my mistakes. Tears stream down your face, and lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. And lights will guide you home and ignite your bones, and I will try to fix you. that you feel me somehow. You're the closest to heaven that I'll ever be, and I don't want to go home right now. And all I can taste in this moment, and all I can breathe is your life. And sooner or later it's over. I just don't want to miss you tonight. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything meant to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. You can fight the tears that had come, or the moment of truth in your lies, when everything feels like a movie. Yeah, you bleed just to know you're alive. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything's meant to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. And I don't want the world to see me, 'cause I don't think that they'd understand when everything's meant to be broken. I just want you to know who I am. When everything's meant to be broken, I just want you to know who I am. And I just want you to know who I am. Okay, this is my last song for all you guys here, and good luck for all the finalists. Best of luck for you guys. When your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your floor, will your mouth still remember the taste of my love? Will your eyes still smile from your cheeks? And darling, I will be loving you till we're 70. And baby, my heart could still fall as hard at 23. I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. Maybe just a touch of a hand. And me, I fall in love with you every single day. And I just want into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your hand on my beating heart. Thinking out loud, and maybe we found love right where we are. When my hair's all about gone and memory fades, and the crowds don't remember my name. When my hands don't play the strings the same way, I know you will still love me the same. 'Cause honey, your soul could never grow. Oh, it's evergreen. And baby, your smile forever in my mind and memory. And I'm thinking about how people fall in love in mysterious ways. And maybe it's all part of a plan. I just keep on making the same mistakes, hoping that you'll understand that baby now, take me into your loving arms. Kiss me under the light of 1,000 stars. Place your hand on my beating heart. Thinking out loud that maybe we found love right where we are. That maybe we found love right where we are. And we found love right where we are. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you so much, Miss Dewa Ayu, for the performance. Moving on, we have a special performance from BINUS University's Most Vibrant Student Committee. Founded in 1993, and officially established on June 6, 1996, Stamanara, or Seni Tari Mahasiswa Bina Nusantara, is the university's student activity unit dedicated to the art of dance. They bring together a whole wide range of genres, from modern and hip-hop to traditional and K-pop dance, and have earned numerous accolades while performing both on and off campus. And today, they'll be showcasing a piece that celebrates the richness of Indonesian culture. Please join me in welcoming Stamanara performing an Indonesian dance. Let's give them a round of applause, everyone.
So we have a surprise for you. Like everything in life, there will always be a surprise. And the competition, the results were so close that we decided it was unfair to award the winners because they were 2 decimal point apart. So in order to determine our top winners, we decided that every team should come back up here and they have a grand total of a minute each. You can come up as a team, which I don't suggest. I suggest you appoint one person, and you should come up and share for the audience how much money are you looking at to raise, what is your exit, how are you going to get there, and some of the feedback that was given to you, incorporate that in that 1 minute. So if you're ready, can we please invite Vietnam on stage? How much are you raising? What round? How are you going to get to the exit? And what is the exit multiple? How did you get to that number? What's the competitive landscape? Remember all that.
All right, so hi everyone. My name is Joe, and I'm a representative from Team Cap M Vietnam. And here's my justification for our decision of choosing Dr. Siltix as our potential startup brand in Vietnam. And firstly, I want to mention about three key investment thesis that we highly recommend the investment committees to invest to the Dr. Siltix. The first one is about the market opportunity. As Dr. Siltix, I want to mention about the SAM of the dermal cosmetic sector. When we evaluate the dermal cosmetic sector, we figure out $13 million for this sector in Vietnam, and actually the revenue, after that we estimate the total revenue by 2030 for Dr. Siltix. Dr. Siltix.
Your time is up. Oh. Thank you. So for the next team, please remember 1 minute is very short. Do not introduce yourself. Do not spend or waste any time. Elon Musk is in front of you. You want to raise whatever money you want from him. 1 minute. Elon Musk is in front of you. Come up. Who's next? Singapore. 1 minute. No more macro picture, Singapore.
Yep, so thanks for the opportunity to present our 1 minute pitch. So we're looking to invest USD 8 million for an 11.2% stake in Stealth Mall. So the entry and exit multiple is going to be about 9.65x. And basically, our preferred exit strategy is going to be the trade sale to strategic buyer, with a trade sale to financial sponsor as the secondary preferred method. So why we prefer trade sale to strat buyer is because we believe it allows us to capitalize on the expected sales premium, as well as the operational and financial synergies that will allow us to capture the highest possible valuation with the highest likelihood of achieving such a valuation. Yeah, and I think that's all for my team.
Well done. Thank you. Next up, Philippines. Start.
Okay, for Get Ready With Me Cosmetics, we were starting at a $43,000 seed capital, which expanded to a 3.8 million US dollar in revenue. So within these 4 years, it was able to generate revenue 90 times from the initial capital. And from this basis, we can get an 8x multiplier when we do the investment. And so when we're asking for a $2 million dollar ask, it will help us generate 59x actually as our initial what do you call it, growth was quite conservative. And so when we do this, we can really maximize the exit through, okay, we can maximize the exit through helping them confirm their, complete.
Time's up.
Okay.
Next up, Malaysia. Isn't this more enjoyable than a beauty pageant?
So we are recommending Armour Zero because it is the only player in APAC who is selling the automated vulnerability management services. So that's why we believe that it has a strong potential to dominate the region. And also because their main target is the regulatory heavy industry. So in this industry, cybersecurity is compulsory. So that's why they have a very high demand on it. And for our funding round proposal, we are proposing 4 million benchmarked by the Series A raised in C and also in dilution, which we believe it would be more reasonable. And in terms of the exit, we proposed M&A because this is actually preferred by the founder himself, mentioned by himself. And the amount, the exit value would be 410 million. And we get this amount by the estimated...
Time's up. Thank you. So, last but not least, Indonesia. You have the most support here.
Okay, I would like to say thank you for all the judges here. So let me wrap it up a little bit. So our investment case is stands on 3 main pillars. So let me talk about our first thesis. Our first thesis mainly talks about that Paris AI is creating and capturing the mid-market opportunity that global player cannot capture. Then let's move on to our second thesis that mainly talks about the founder and team. So Paris AI is being led by founders and led that's being experienced to more than 15 years of experience in technology and business. So it is being led by legit founders and leaders. And last but not least, our last thesis mainly talks about all of the economic aspects that can lead the investment case into the predictable 7 years exit path that can give 10 times gain at the IPO. I think that's all from us. Thank you.
Thank you. So the judges will take the next 2 minutes and we'll come back to you with the results.
Okay, ladies and gentlemen, please stay in your seats as the judges will finalize the score and we'll move on to the prize ceremony. Thank you. Attention please, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for has finally arrived. After weeks of preparation, countless hours of research, and an incredible display of conviction and creativity from our finalists today, we've reached the highlight of Startup Wars 2025, the Southeast Asia's Grand Finals, the prize presentation ceremony. And to kick off this special moment, please join me in welcoming our distinguished panel of judges again to the stage to present the prizes to the winner. To all the judges, please come up to the stage. Okay, before we reveal today's result, let's take a moment to celebrate all our finalists. Each team has showcased exceptional thinking, determination, and collaboration. You've all proven that the next generation of Southeast Asia's venture capitalists is truly world-class. Now let's give them all a big round of applause. To present the third place award, may I invite Ms. Sharon Lim to step forward. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, the third place goes to Team Launchpad Ventures from Indonesia. Congratulations, Team Launchpad Ventures. Please come up and receive your award and take a photo with the judges. Let's give them all another big round of applause, everyone. Team Launchpad Ventures. Okay, for the second place award, may... sorry, my bad. Please take a photo. Okay, thank you for Ms. Sharon and Team Launchpad. Okay, for the second place award, may I invite Mr. Richard to step forward. And the second place award goes to Team Spark Aura from Malaysia. Let's give them a big round of applause. Congratulations, Team Spark Aura. Please come up to the stage and receive your award and a photo with the judge. Please look forward for the photo. Once again, give a big round of applause for Team Spark Aura. Please, okay. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the moment we've all been waiting for. To present the Grand Champion Award, may I invite Mr. Vignesh Pillai, co-founder and managing partner of TNB Aura, to step forward. And now, the champion of Startup Wars 2025 Southeast Asia's Grand Final is Team Mitra Yoshuara Investasi from Singapore. Congratulations to Team Mitra Yoshuara Investasi. Please come up to the stage and take a photo with the judges. please look forward to take for the photo session. Okay, now I would like to invite all the champions to get on stage again for a group photo. Oh, everybody, also the finalists? Okay, my apologies. All the finalists, please come up stage for a photo with the judges and the champion. Everyone, let's give them all a big round of applause. You've all done an incredible job throughout this competition, and even if you didn't take home the trophy today, remember that every one of you has showcased remarkable talent, creativity, and resilience. Let's give one more big round of applause to all our finalists and champion of Startup Wars 2025. Okay, another round of applause, everyone. Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, what we've witnessed today is more than a competition. It's a testament to the boldness, vision, and the relentless drive in Southeast Asia's next generation of founders. You have all shown us that innovation knows no borders and that the most transformative ideas are being born right here in our region. To all our champion and the finalists on the stage, you set a new standard. And to our judges and partners who believe in the future, thank you for investing. And for everyone here today, you've been all a part of something bigger than a competition. Because Startup Wars is not just a competition, it is a movement for the future. This is just the beginning. We'll see some of these teams on the global stage, disrupting industries, creating jobs, and changing lives. And we can't wait to see what you all have in store next. And before we close, one last note. If you're interested in exploring opportunities with the VC firms and TNB Aura's portfolio companies here today, you can scan I'm very sorry. Once again, for everyone, if you're interested in the VC firms and TNB's Aura's portfolio companies here today, you can scan the QR code in the screen to submit your resume. It's a great way to stay connected and open doors beyond this competition. Thank you, and we'll see you at Startup Wars 2026. But everyone, before we wrap up, another quick announcement to the first 50 students who registered for the networking segment.